What is up? What is up? And welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we got blood sport to talk, we got beer to drink. Today's a pick'em episode. We're going to try to make you some money. We got UFC 286 coming up, a big card, big rematch, big fights. We'll go over it in a moment, try to make you some money. Real quick recapping from last week, just our picks. We went 2-3. Bad night. What do? We picked the underdog in Merab Divashvili at plus 220, so that was a nice little even out. I ended up breaking even pretty much, but it could have been better. 2-3 is not great. We're 16-11 on the year. Actually, no, I think we're 18-11. I'll have to double check that, but regardless, not a great week. We're looking for some redemption on this week's episode, and it's in London. This card's in London. It's going to be a lot of London fighters on it. It's going to be a fun card. It's pay-per-view, so they're always loaded. We're going to kick things off on the prelims with Jai Herbert. He's taking on Ludovic Klein. Jai's coming in plus 160 underdog to Klein's minus 190. Jai's the hometown boy, though, and Jai, his record does not look great if you're looking at his record in the UFC. But he's had some really good fights with some really good fighters. He almost knocked out Ilia Topuria in the first round of their last fight last time he was in London. So he's got a solid shot here. Klein, he's got real good boxing. I think that he's a good fighter. I think he's got all the tools to win. He could pull it out, but I'm pulling for Herbert at the plus 160 dog. This was more of a pick'em to me than anything. So I got to go with Herbert at plus 160. And then after that fight, we got Leron Murphy at minus 175. He's taking on Gabriel Santos. Leron Murphy is a force at 135. He's fighting in his home country too, so I'm rolling with another Brit. This one's a favorite, so minus 175 on Leron Murphy. I think he's undefeated in the UFC, so the dude's rolling. And then on the main card, we'll do all 5 fights on the main card. First one, we got Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Dolidze. And I tell you, my gut's telling me to go with Dolidze in this one. Dolidze's got 3 knockouts in his last 3 fights. He's been rolling through people. But the level of competition has not been that of Marvin Vettori. So Vettori, he's got an easier path to victory where he can really control the fight easier. He can wrestle really well. He can hold you up against the cage, work in the clinch really well, and just milk the clock. He could get a victory that way just by controlling most of the fight. I'm rolling with Vettori because my head's saying to, but my gut says Dolidze. I'm going to go with Vettori because Vettori is a dog. He's a beast, and his chin's there's not a better chin at 185. So going with Vettori. Next we have Casey King Casey O'Neill. She's taking on former title challenger Jennifer Maia. O'Neill's coming in minus 170 favorite to Maia's plus 145 comeback as the dog. Maia, strong wrestler, really good jiu-jitsu, just great on the ground in any sense. And then you got Casey O'Neill, who's this new generation of women's MMA. She's skilled everywhere, great striking, great wrestling, jiu-jitsu. She can do it all. She's got really good pace, and she's got a high fight IQ. She knows where to take the fight, where she shouldn't take the fight at the right times, what she needs to do to win rounds. I think Casey O'Neill is going to keep rolling. It's a comeback after an ACL injury, but I think she's going to keep rolling and stay undefeated in the UFC, taking out Jennifer Maia. So minus 170 going with Casey O'Neill. And then we have Brian Barberena. Brian Bam Bam Barberena stepping in 2 weeks' notice to take on the dangerous Gunnar Nelson. Barberena, he's a vet. He's tough to get out of there. He's always game. He's always ready to fucking throw down. He's a beast. Nelson, though, it's a bad matchup for Barberena, I think, because Nelson's just a menace on the ground. He can get submissions from anywhere, and if the submissions aren't there, he's got the wrestling to just be a backpack for 15 minutes, 15 entire minutes. I mean, I think Barberena has a chance, but this one has Nelson minus 370, Barberena plus 290. It's in Nelson's neck of the woods over in the UK, so we're going to go with the minus 370 favorite, Gunnar Nelson. And then in the co-main event, we got Justin, the highlight Gaethje. He's taking on Rafael Ataman Fiziev. Both guys beasts in the stand-up. Fiziev has looked untouchable lately. He just finished RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, in his last fight. He's been a beast. He can kick, he can punch, he's got a chin on him. He can do it all. Justin Gaethje, we all know who he is. He's a beast boxer. He's actually wrestling background, but his boxing is amazing. He's got killer calf kicks, and his chin's there too. He's just game. Every time he fights, it's the fight of the year. He's a beast. He's coming in as a plus 190 dog to Fiziev, coming back at minus 225. I was blown away by those numbers. I was going to pick Fiziev until I saw those numbers because I thought this should have been a pick'em. So we got to go with Gaethje. I just think, even in a 3-round fight, I think at some point Gaethje's going to catch him. I think Gaethje's just going to kind of wear on him, and he's got that killer instinct to know when to walk the dude down, and I don't think Fiziev's been in there with a dude like Gaethje yet. Gaethje, he lost to Oliveira in a pretty dominating fashion, but that guy's a different fighter entirely. You got other things to worry about with him that you don't have to worry about with Fiziev. I really think Gaethje might stop it in the second or third. I could be wrong. He's a big dog, plus 190, but we're going with the big dog in Gaethje at plus 190. And then finally, the main event for the welterweight title. We got the tree match, the trilogy, the third of the fight, the third of the series. Kamaruddin Usman, former welterweight champion, taking on current champion Leon Edwards. In their last fight, Usman was dominating it until he wasn't, and Edwards landed a flush head kick that put him out cold. And that's a huge thing for this fight because that gives Edwards a lot of confidence coming in. He already knows he can take Usman down. He did it in the first round of their last fight. He can knock him out. He doesn't have to be scared of him now. And he's got the gas tank to last the 5 rounds. He didn't know if he had it or not. That being said, Usman did dominate it. I mean, from the end of the first round until he got knocked out, Usman was dominating the fight. It's a tough one to call. Usman's a minus 245 favorite. Edwards plus 205 as the underdog. Edwards is definitely going to be more confident coming in. I don't think he's going to be as scared. I think he's going to take it to him. It'll be a lot closer fight than the first one. I think we're going to see a lot more competitive moments than we did in that first fight. I still think Usman is going to win at least 3 of the rounds. I think we're going to see Usman by decision, maybe a 3-2 decision or a 4-1, but I think Usman's taking it even at the minus 245 favorite. We got to go with Usman because we got to go making money. We got to make some redemption from last week. So that's the picks we got for you. If you're looking for a parlay to help you make some bucks, let's see here. Let's roll with Leron Murphy, Marvin Vettori, Gunnar Nelson. 3 favorites. Who gives a shit? Make a little bit of money. It'll probably turn you plus something. But again, those picks, running back through them that I gave you today, we got Jai Herbert plus 160, Leron Murphy minus 175, Marvin Vettori minus 265, Casey O'Neill minus 170, Gunnar Nelson minus 370, Justin Gaethje plus 190, and then Kamaruddin Usman minus 245. We only got 2 upsets in there. They're bigger upsets than the little weak shit, the pick'ems that are basically that are barely an upset. So hopefully we make you some money. Hopefully we redeem ourselves from last weekend. I went out on a limb on some of these fights. I went against my gut, and this was a tough card to pick. I mean, kudos to the matchmakers. They did some really good matchmaking where you don't know who's going to win. Sometimes you look at these pay-per-views and you're like, oh, that looks fun, but I know who's going to win these fights. Like, you can tell a lot of the time who's going to win. And this one seems like it has a lot more parity. So I'm excited for it. Let me know what your picks are, what you agree with, disagree with, why. I appreciate you tuning in. This has been Matt with Blood and Beer, and until next time.